consciousness, and in no thinking, it expands. If you do not think, if you simply are fully alert, aware, awake, but without any cloud of thoughts, you are unlimited. It is like the traffic that is moving on the road. The body is not the only body. There are two dimensions. The body is the outer dimension and mind is the inner dimension. Body is not the only body. A deeper body is your mind. Body consists of matter. Mind consists also of matter, but it is subtle, more refined. Body is the outer layer, it is gross. Mind is the inner layer. And it is easy to be detached from the body. It is more difficult to detach from the mind. Because with the mind, you feel you are more yourself. It is like a tunnel. Tunnel has an outer dimension. Tunnel is made by cutting the mountain or in any other way. There is an outer dimension. There is an inner dimension where more lighting arrangement, the roads and all the other things have to be made, because it is the inner dimension of the tunnel which is more in use than the outer dimension. So too, in life on a day-to-day basis, when a particular circumstance and situation comes, you are moving from one state to another, from one realm to another, or just as you are passing from one place to another, moving from one place to another, you pass through the tunnel if that comes in the way. So you are more concerned in life with the inner dimension. What is the state of the mind? Inner dimension. Inner dimension means there is a free flowing, there is no thoughts. It is the cloud of thoughts that creates a traffic jam. If there is a blockage or something, all of a sudden the traffic comes to a standstill or it begins to creep. So when a particular thought comes to your mind, you come like a thought jam. You are stuck at that particular thought. It changes your whole inner state. If you imagine the name of someone that you do not like, immediately traffic jam comes in. The thoughts stuck. You are stuck at a particular point. It makes you heavy and you are not able to move freely. But if you are not concerned with that thought, it does not bother you. It is like a free-flowing traffic. So for journey of life, you need to move through the inner dimension, which is the mind. Body is the outer dimension. Just as your vehicle has an outer dimension, you want to keep it in healthy order, but you sit for traveling inside the car. You cannot just remain outside and you can travel. So in order to move from one state to another, from one problem to another, you have to pass through the tunnel of the mind. How well it is decorated, like tunnel is decorated in one way, and the mind, the inner dimension, is decorated in a different way. While you are passing through that, you do not get stuck. This is your meditativeness. Because of the meditativeness, you will not get stuck at a particular thought. Or even if a thought comes in, you will realize that it is free flowing. Not like the one thought comes on, thoughts come like a chain reaction. If I ask you to take one name of your name of a person of your past relationship, hooked on to that particular name or just name alone, many things start floating in front of your eyes. It is like a chain reaction. One thought comes, free association of thoughts. It is known. It creates a problem. You don't need to think of anything else, just you take the name X. Then the moments that you have spent with X, the happy moments, the unhappy moments, the beginning, the middle, the end, the breakup, and problems, all these surface. All this was not called for. But if there is meditativeness, understanding, you are watching the things on the screen. When you are watching on the screen, it is not the reality. It is not happening now. Now you are in a different state of awareness. But the moment you are still living in the past, that is what happens. The memories of the past continue to bother. And when a situation comes in, we keep on saying things which are not called for at that moment. It is all because of the memories. They create the problem. You had the memory of Mr. X or Miss X, that you had once a relationship. Just the very name of that person throws you into that states of some moments, different moments of time spent in that company. So some you will like to pause and watch it again and again. Some you will like to just as if they never existed in the life. So that is the inner layer of the mind. In order to journey, to move from one place to another, you pass through the inner layer. Then there is another analogy. The house that you live in, it has an outer dimension, it has an inner dimension. Outer dimension, you decorate in one particular manner and you do not focus too much attention on that. But the inner dimension of the house comprises of bedrooms, the children bedrooms. And children, if you have a girl child and a boy child, their bedrooms are decorated differently, the color scheme and the inner thing. Then your bedroom, if you are sharing your bedroom with your spouse, your husband, or if you are having a separate bedroom, then the bedroom for the guest, then the kitchen area, laundry, pantry, the outside dimension. All these things are decorated in a different way, and time to time you rearrange. This is the inner dimension, because that's where you spend most of your time. So your mind, so if there are thoughts or things are disarranged, as we have found, if your house your bedroom is properly organized, you feel relaxed 24 hours. If things are scattered and so, and when you come, you do not find the bed have things, all kind of things scattered, and you don't know what to do, where to start with, you are already tired. This is what happens when you are moving in life along the life's roads. We come across many situations like this. So the inner dimension of the body, that is mind, that's where you feel relaxed. So there is no thoughts arising, and even if they are arising, they are not disturbing you. You can feel very comfortable and relaxed in any situation. So these two things have to be understood. The body consists of matter, and because that is the outer dimension, mind is also consists of matter, but it is subtle, more refined. The outside walls of the house are more gross, not much deco is needed. For inside, you have to make it soundproof, let's say. So you use a different technique of the inner walls. If you have to use the color scheme, the arrangement, all these things go. So life consists of decorating the inner dimension of the body, the inner dimension where you feel most relaxed. The main element of that is serenity that comes through meditative insights. It is also composed of, like, see, the inner dimension of your room is also consist of, made up of gross elements, gross matter. But this gross matter is more subtle, more refined. The inner painting is more refined. The inner, the walls are more refined than the outer walls. And there now you do different kind of designs. You can use the wall decorating paper on it. You can do it in a different way. You can do the tiles, you can do the many other things, right from flooring to ceiling, from ceiling to walls, the color of the walls, the deco, and all these things. This is what meditation means. This is what life involves. You have to pass through the tunnel of the mind. So you have to have, the tunnel should have a proper lighting, proper flow of that. There is proper outlets in case of an emergency. So when a situation of emergency comes in, you can divert the traffic into the other channels. So on a day-to-day basis, when we are interacting in life, you are dealing with your spouse, and all of a sudden there is a blockage came at a particular point. Now you have to direct the attention to the other side. There should be freedom, and that is where the dimension of meditation, the dimension of deep understanding of life and its phenomena comes into practice. And then the other aspect, your house, you do not live in the tunnel. You pass through that in order to move from one place to another. This is the mind. Here the tunnel and the house are two different things. But in case of the human life, your mind also acts as a tunnel. When one thought comes, like a vehicle passing, it does not get a breakdown. But when a thought of your spouse comes in, you had asked your spouse to, when he is coming from the work in the afternoon, to bring something, but he forgets. So a traffic jam comes in, And at that moment, you start saying things which are not called for at that moment. There is a blockage. Now you have to divert your attention from that particular to another thing. So you have to sideline. So if the tunnel does not have any points where you can move from one, if there is a traffic jam, there is no alternate arrangements to avoid the traffic, then you are stuck in that thought. And this is what life is all about. Your life is stuck at one point and you have no way to come out of that particular traffic situation or the impediments that created by the thought process. This is one thing. So mind is used for that. So meditation is the technique. Deep understanding of life and its phenomena is supportive methodologies. Then the other aspect of the mind is your house. So you feel you work in all the dimensions. You work in the kitchen, you work in laundry, you work in garden, you work in restroom, you work in other bedrooms, but you are most relaxed in your innermost core. That innermost core you have designed for your own comfort. So the moment you come there, you feel relaxed. So you decorate it according to your own liking, your own belief system, your everything. So all that create an environment for you to be relaxed the moment you come and you lay on your bed, you feel relaxed. This is another aspect of the mind. How have you decorated the inner dimension of the body? That is the mind, which is subtle, it is not gross matter, but it is subtle and refined matter. Because, as I said, the inner walls of the room are decorated, painted, and designed in a different way. Suppose if someone says, now coming back after these two analogies to the mind and the body, if someone says your body looks ill, you don't feel much offended. You are not attached to it. Just as you are not attached to the outer dimension of your house as much as you are attached to the inner dimension of your house. It is a little away from you. But if someone says your mind seems to be pathologically ill, you feel offended, as if the person has insulted you. With the mind, you are nearer, closer to you. If someone says something about your body, you can tolerate it. If someone says something about your mind, it is impossible to tolerate it because he has hit the inner dimension of your inner dimension. The mind is the inner layer of the body, and body and mind are not separate. That just as the inner wall and the outer wall of the house are not separate. One is the body, the other is the mind. Your bedroom, the inner dimension, this is the inner dimension, that is the mind, more refined than the outer dimension. The outer layer of your body is the body, and the inner layer of the body is mind. Just as if you have a house, you can see the house from outside and you can see the house from inside. From outside, the outer layer of the walls will be seen. which is your body, and from inside the inner layers of the house will be seen, which is your mind. Mind is the inner layer and body is the outer layer. The inner layer, you are closest to your inner deco of the house, your bedroom. It is nearer to you. But in death, the outer dimension drops and the inner dimension remains. But you carry the inner, the thoughts, the memories. They go from, move from when one day ends, then the next day comes in, you carry the same memories. In death, your outer body drops, but you carry the inner, the subtle layers with you. You are so attached to it that even death cannot separate you from your mind. Now, in your practical example, you had started with one relationship. Then there was a breakdown. You moved to another relationship. But you carry the memories of the first relationship into the second. And then when a moment comes in, you are interacting in the new relationship, but the moment the old comes, a thought of the old relationship or situation comes, is the traffic is jammed. The traffic is not moving at all. The breakdown comes in. So in order to move to another relationship, you have to clear that thought process completely, that no thought of the past remains. And this is the problem that I have faced, a master faces in dealing with the seekers. Their memories have to be removed, they one by one. So from time to time creates existence or circumstances and situation. Existence creates circumstances and situation to see how far you have progressed. As I said, if you take the name of your past, your spouse, and then along with that, as a free association of thoughts, many thoughts keep on coming just as chain hooked onto the same chain, and you are lost in that. The expressions will be seen on your face. So the inner journey does not begin, attain fruition until all those memories are removed. So if the name of that person comes in, it does not matter to you. It becomes just like a screen you are passing through. The screen is showing various advertisements. For a moment you can see, and that's you move around. So in death of that particular relationship, that relationship which was gross has finished. But the subtle aspect of that, the memories, you remember and you carry into the other relationship. So you are so attached to that in a moment of separation, in the moment of death, you cannot separate you from your mind. So these memories are part of the mind. Mind continues. That is why your past births can be known, because you are still carrying all the minds of your past, the relationships, past minds, they are there. If you were a dog once, the dog mind is still in you. If you were a tree once, the tree mind is still in you. If you were a woman, then that mind is there. You had a relationship with A, so that memories are there as mind A. Then you enter into B. So the things will become more complex, because now the memories of A and B are together when you are moving into relationship with C, and the life goes on and on like this in great conflict and turmoil. All these minds are carried by you. You are attached to them and you never lose the grips. In death, the outer dissolves, but the inner is carried on. When a relationship finishes, the outer dimension of the relationship is finished. The person is no more. You do not see him anymore. That is finished. But are you finished with the memories? No, you are not. The inner is carried. And when two inners of this relationship and that relationship comes together, things becomes more complex and complicated. It is very subtle material thing. Really just vibrations of energy, thought vibrations. So now the person is not there. The memory is a vibration of energy, thought vibrations. You carry them, and according to your thought patterns that you carry, you enter a new body. So carrying the energy, the vibrations of the energy of the first relationship, you enter into another. According to the thought patterns, the desire patterns, the mind, you again create a new body for yourself. You created a new relationship for yourself. The blueprint of the first relationship is still in the mind. I am explaining this in relation to your current life. If that is cleared, so you will not be carrying anything when the final death moment comes in. The blueprint is in the mind, and the outer layer is again accumulated. So now the meditation is, first you have to put aside the body, then the second you put aside the mind, you put aside the outer dimension, the body, the person. Then you have to put aside the inner dimension, which is the mind, the memories. Even death cannot separate you. Only meditation can separate you. In death, you ended that relationship. So that relationship is died, is no more. But are you finished with the memories of that? No, you are not. Only meditative insights, only deeper dimensions when you are in meditation within the energy field of the awakened one. Slowly and slowly, you can separate yourself from those memories. So until and unless all this inner cleaning is done, then you cannot enter into the dimensionless dimension. That is why meditation is greater death. It is a deeper surgery, deeper than death itself. That is why so much fear is there about meditation. People go on talking about the meditation, but they never do it. They never enter the inner dimensions of life. So in the process of transformation, the master takes you through the various dimensions. Buddha introduced, Mahavir introduced the technique of Jati Samran. Then there are, Shiva gave 112 techniques of meditation. The outer dimension, the body dissolves, the mind dissolves. The Buddha entered into Mahaparinirvana. First, the body dissolved, then mind dissolves. And then Mind means memories dissolved. And then final, he entered into Mahaparinirvana. Otherwise, the body, the relationship is finished, but the memory remains. Through meditation within the energy field of the awakened one, then slowly and slowly the inner dimension, the memories also dissolve, they die, they vanish. And then you are free to move forward. And then those who have experienced this, or those who are within the energy field of an awakened one, they will realize that how their life is beginning to change. They feel lightness within them. Lightness in the outer dimension, the body feels light, like as if they have gotten the feathers to move. The feet are not heavy. The mind is not heavy. But at times it can come there. That is why there is so much of fear. People go on talking about meditation, but nobody dares to enter it. They will talk, they will write about it, they preach about it, but they never do it. A deep fear exists about meditation, and the fear is of death. Those who do meditation, they come one day, and another day they are scared, thrown back into the past. They come back and say that they cannot enter more. It is almost impossible. A point comes where one feels one is dying, and that point is the point of deeper death. Deeper death, deeper than the death itself, because now the innermost being is separated. The more inner identity is being shattered. One feels one is dying. One feels as if one is moving into non-existence. The fear comes in. A deep abyss opens. Infinite emptiness opens and surrounds you. One gets scared of that. Sometimes people mention of those situations, but one has to continue. Then it is something you were not familiar with. You were not aware of this dimension. One is scared and runs back to cling to the body so that he is not thrown back, because the earth beneath your feet is moving and a valley is opening, a nothing valley of nothingness. And unless you in order to move in life, to progress, you have to take off. You have to leave the ground. And then when you have to move from one place to another, you take a flight. The flight, you are in one position, you are leaving the ground, your attachment to the ground level, then you are up in the air, but you are under the command of the pilot who is flying the plane, taking you from one destination to another. This is the master who, like a pilot, flies your plane, takes you in his plane, in his consciousness, takes off along with you, and then carries you higher in the flight. And you have to have the trust in pilot, that this pilot will take you from one destination to another. And then again, when he moves from one dimension to another, one place to another, you land back again, you come back to the ground. So he takes you from one relationship, from the ground level, takes you on a higher altitude, and until keeps that higher altitude is a state of meditativeness. He takes you into that, and then he lands you back along with you into a different dimension. You, because of that relationship, you are stuck at a particular point. So he takes you off from there. Now when you move, you are landed back, you are empty, you are not attached to that memory. This is the way meditation happens, and this is the way the master works. Enough for now.